Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Drueboy, and today I am finally bringing you guys the long-awaited settings video. I know some of you have been requesting this for quite some time now, and I am finally doing it. And as you can see by my gameplay, these are my settings. These are what I play on, and there's one thing in particular that really does stand out about my settings, and we'll get onto that in a little bit, but I did just want to quickly mention that I did get these settings off my friend's site. They're not actually my settings. He sort of gave them to me. He said I could release them to you guys, and his channel link will be in the description below. Now, the first thing that you guys may find weird about my settings is my aspect ratio. Now, obviously, I play on stretched or 1280 by 1024, which is some people may find it weird. You know, I feel like stretch resolution has potential to be better than native. As you can see here, through the middle of Sandstorm, it's just a lot wider than it usually is on native, and that's pretty much what stretch resolution does. To my knowledge, it also makes like the hitbox is slightly bigger. If anyone's ever played like old school Fortnite and you stretch on that, the enemies' heads are usually a lot larger, and that's why people would play stretched on Fortnite back in the day. You know, it would make shotgunning their heads and being able to aim at their heads a lot easier, and I'm guessing that the stretch sort of has the same effect in Krunker, so arguably I am able to hit more shots or, you know, aim slightly easier on stretch res. Now, the one thing that stretched also does is it also makes people move faster. Now, of course, in a game like Fortnite, which has, you know, limited movement speed, it might not really make too much of a difference, and obviously, you know, stretch would be the best option to go with if it doesn't really affect anything. However, in a game like Krunker, which is heavily movement based, you may think that stretch actually also gives a disadvantage, and you wouldn't be wrong, but with the recent ranked introductions that like limit movement speed, I honestly don't really feel like it's too bad of an issue. Obviously, my tracking fucking sucks ass. It's gonna have to be something that I improve on in the future, which I can do through Kovacs and things like that. So I'm really not too worried about it for now. But I mean, I guess those are sort of the implications along with the benefits of using stretch res. It's debatable if stretch res will actually make you better at the game, or if it's even good for you, or if it's beneficial at all, but, you know, I like to think that it is, and, you know, I play it anyway, so who really cares? I'm not really going to switch over these settings, if I'm being honest. I'm going to continue playing stretched. I'll see what happens. If I had to say so myself, I would argue that my static aim is quite good, and it's definitely significantly better than my tracking as far as tracking goes. Now, if you actually do want to try out my stretch res settings for yourself, then you now can. I will leave a link to my settings in the description below, where you can copy my settings, you know, import them into the game, and you can make up your own opinion on stretch res. There is one last thing that I would like to say about stretch res, and it is that Kashy himself did try out my resolution live on stream, giving his own opinions, and here is the clip to that now.
Play 1280 by 1024. Is this the Drueboy res? What? This is the Drueboy res. Yeah, I can just tell instantly. I've seen your gameplay. Okay, this is really good. What? Ah! This feels so good. Oh, Drew, I'm gonna have to run a comp game on this.
So as you can see from the clip, it made him absolutely demonic, and it can make you demonic as well if you do want to try these settings. If you need any more convincing on exactly why these are the best ranked settings, there are a few other settings that I would like to go through and talk about. Now, two other settings that you might also want to know about is my FOV and my FOV Power. As you can see here, I play on 83.22 FOV, which is really quite weird, and I use .25 FOV Power. I think the .25 FOV Power isn't too out of the ordinary. I think most people use somewhere around that number. And to be completely honest with you, I cannot at all explain the usage of the .22 after the 83 in my FOV. Like I said before, these aren't my settings. They are from my friend's site, who's a member of 7, and they have such players such as Neramino, Duprius, Roadman, and a few other really good players. So you know these settings have to be A1. And I can say personally that these settings are without a doubt the best ranked settings I've ever used. They're really good for pubs too. If you needed any more convincing that these are indeed the best settings, here I'll put some gameplay up from my friend's site. This is one of his YouTube videos. You can check him out in the description below, as I've said before.
Come on, my nigga, we on go, my nigga, for all of my doors in the pen. You said you was gang, but you never hanging, I guess it was a miss. The picture I paint is never gonna change, RPG, we gonna win. Spending this cash, we'll run to the back, we can do this shit all again. Come on, my nigga, we on go, my nigga, for all of my doors in the pen. You said you was gang, but you never hanging, I guess it was a miss. The picture I
If you want to finish watching that highlights vid, the link will be in the description below. But that is just an example of how these settings can turn you into an absolute demon at ranked. You can take my word for it. And I must say, one of the things that I like most about these settings is just how simple it makes the map. It just removes all the unnecessary textures and keeps it down to the bare bones minimum. And another thing is that it completely removes the primary weapon and the secondary weapon on ADS, which frees up as much of the screen as possible. And this frees up like a lot more of the screen so you can see more players, and it really just gives you an advantage in comp especially. There's no bullet trails either, which also helps to give you an advantage. In the footage you're watching now, I actually have a very large text box, but when you go and download my settings from the description below, I will make sure to have this setting changed back so the text box is very small, which of course gives you more of an advantage in comp as it allows you to see more of the screen. And I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about these settings. One more thing of note, I do play on 0.3 cents. Before this, I was playing on a different sensitivity, but when I switched over to these settings, I was told to keep the sense and just practice and learn on the sense, and it has helped immensely. So I would of course recommend, if you are going to switch over to these settings permanently, do keep the sensitivity, maybe change it back to your original sense just to see how you like it. But if you don't have like a main sense, then do try and main this. I would highly recommend it. And apart from that, that's pretty much the end of the video, guys. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you do want more videos like this, please be sure to like and subscribe. You don't have to, it's not a requirement, but if you've made it to the end, there's a reason for that. And so yeah, sub really would be greatly appreciated. I am trying to get monetized. But apart from that, thank you once again to Faceit for giving me his settings. Link to them will be in the description. The link to his channel will be in the description. And yeah, take care.